Epictetus, one of the greatest masters of freedom, left us a clear roadmap for self-mastery. First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. In our age, we are accustomed to viewing identity as something static, something given to us by our lineage, our circumstances, or our genes. However, Stoic philosophy reminds us that identity is not a still photograph to be admired, it is literally cinema. It is an action in progress, a continuous creation. To understand the power hidden behind the concept of identity, we must examine one of the oldest philosophical riddles, the paradox of the Ship of Theseus. According to Plutarch, the Athenians preserved the Ship of Theseus for centuries. As its planks rotted, they replaced them with new, stronger ones. The question that Plutarch poses, not to provide a simple answer but to make us wonder, is this: if every single part of the ship has been replaced, does it remain the same ship? In human existence, the answer is not found in the material, the cells or the information we consume, but in the will. We all change planks daily. Our views shift and our experiences reshape us. We are not the same people we were 10 years ago. The critical question, however, is: who is replacing the planks of your ship? Are you replacing them consciously, based on the blueprint you defined through self-observation? Or are they being replaced secretly at night by others, society, algorithms, dominant trends, until one day you wake up and your ship no longer belongs to you? The 4 steps of conscious transformation. First one, defining the will, the heresy. The first step belongs to our creative imagination. You must stop the mechanical flow of daily life and ask, who do I want to be? Not what do I want to have, but what quality of character do I want to represent? This decision is your heresy, from the Greek heresis, your free choice. The word heresy. Notice how the word heresy itself is a perfect example of the Ship of Theseus. In pre-Christian times, it was a neural philosophical term, heresis, meaning choice or school of thought. It represented the ultimate freedom to pick one's own path. But the planks of this word were secretly replaced. Its meaning was flipped from freedom of choice to a crime against authority. Think about how many other words you use every day without knowing that someone else has altered their substance. When you use words with hijacked meanings, you are sailing with a mind that is no longer your own. Second, independence from externals and prohairesis. Who you are cannot depend on wealth, fame, or the judgments of others. If your identity is based on external factors, you are a hostage to fortune. The true self is built on values that no one can take away from you. And then heresis becomes prohairesis. What is prohairesis? It is the pre-choice. It is the internal disposition and moral constitution you have decided upon before events occur. Prohairesis is the only thing that is truly ours. When others try to change the planks of your ship, prohairesis is the captain who says, "This plank I accept, that one I reject." 3. Action as a mirror. It is not enough to want to be just or free. Identity is forged through action. Every time you act according to your decision, you are casting a vote for the person you wish to become. If you claim to be free but act as a slave to your impulses, your identity is then a mere illusion. 4. Self-observation, the guardian of the ship. Self-observation is the process where you, as the architect of yourself, examine every new plank, every new thought or desire before installing it. If it does not fit your original blueprint, you reject it. The vacuum and the invisible government. There is a harsh law in life. The vacuum of self-knowledge is always occupied by third parties. If you do not know who you are, advertising, politics, and social pressure will tell you who you ought to be, turning your ship into a floating prison. As the father of propaganda, Edward Bernays, wrote, "The conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic society. Those who manipulate this unseen mechanism of society constitute an invisible government which is the true ruling power of our country. We are governed, our minds are molded, our tastes formed, our ideas suggested largely by men we have never heard of. This is a logical result of the way in which our democratic society is organized. Vast numbers of human beings must cooperate in this manner if they are to live together as a smoothly functioning society. In almost every act of our daily lives, whether in the sphere of politics or business, in our social conduct or our ethical thinking, we are dominated by the relatively small number of persons who understand the mental processes and social patterns of the masses. It is they who pull the wires which control the public mind. These invisible engineers pull the wires of public opinion and change the planks of your ship while you sleep. In almost every act of daily life, we are dominated by those who understand the psychic processes of the masses. If you do not become the architect of your own vessel, you will end up sailing in a foreign floating prison, all while under the illusion that you are free. We become the best version of ourselves not when we find some hidden self, but when we create it consciously, changing our planks one by one. Bernays, in his manifesto, skillfully uses the word democracy. But if we look closely at the shape of this concept, we will realize that its planks were replaced long ago. Today we use the term representative democracy to describe a system that, in reality, functions as mere delegation. But is democracy the direct and mediated responsibility of the citizen for their own fate the same thing as surrendering your will to others every few years? The noble name of democracy is used to offer you an illusion of freedom. You are granted the right to choose between pre-packaged options, while simultaneously your Prohairesis is under siege by the invisible government of information since the very day you was born. So the question remains, if the very word that defines your freedom has had all its authentic planks replaced by foreign bodies, then is the ship carrying you truly your homeland? Or is it a floating prison?